I'm Kelsi Kitchener.
And I'm Celeste Durve, and you're watching Hollywire.
What's up, Hollywire? Gabby Conti here with the Viper Girls. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you guys so much for having us.
Oh my God, thanks for being here. So I'd love to play a quick game with you of Finish That Phrase. My worst date was when?
Someone had me pay the tip.
Just the tip?
Just the tip. Just the tip. Someone had me pay gratuity.
Oh, but they paid the bill and then had you pay?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. How about you? Any worst date?
I have so many worst dates.
The one that rises to the top as the absolute worst.
Probably the one that I threw up at the end of. That one was probably the worst one.
Oh my goodness. Did they know? Did your date know?
Oh, yeah. They were there.
They were there.
It was the first date. They were there.
It's like Carrie and just
Yeah,
like that.
it just
There you
happened.
go. There you go.
Oh my gosh, it is.
It is. But it seems like maybe you were just not that into them.
I
Perhaps.
wasn't.
Yeah.
No.
You're
But
gonna vomit. It's her body saying,
But it was
"Don't
still,
do
it
this."
just still wasn't like my best work.
Yeah.
You know, like.
So you guys do all these events here in Los Angeles, and you have a podcast coming out. But let's take it back. Tell me about how you guys started the Viper Girls.
Well, about almost 6 years ago, Kelsi and I met as interns for this company called Bolthouse Productions, and we were just hustling. We were working 3 jobs at the same time, and we would do all these events, and we had the idea, like, why don't we manage check-in since we do it as interns anyway? What if we, could maybe make some money? Because we were unpaid as interns. And so 6 years ago, we started calling our girlfriends and bringing them to run front doors with us. And then over time, it just really expanded.
And you each started by investing $500 each into it. I'm assuming your company's worth a lot more than that now today.
I hope so.
I know.
Yeah, it was $500 each. I think I called my mom and I was like, hey, can I borrow? At that time we were both working 3 jobs and barely scraping by to make ends meet. And so I called my mom and said, can I borrow $500? And she was like, yeah. I was like, I promise I'll pay you back. and any money that we were able to pay ourselves, she was the first person I paid back, and then she couldn't hang it over my head any longer that I owed her money.
There you go. Always pay your parents back, people.
Exactly.
That is key. That is key. And you also have a podcast that just came out. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we started a podcast last year. It's called Smart is Sexy. And during quarantine, we definitely had a lot of downtime, and we also used to live together. So in that time, we were like, okay, maybe we should, launch a podcast and just talk about our journeys as business owners, but also just navigating living in LA in your anywhere from like your early 20s to early 30s, I would say, is like probably our demographic. So we talk about dating, we talk about spirituality, we talk about business, life. We throw in, stuff about events and stuff that goes on in LA. And then it all comes together and we just hang out.
There you go, there you go. Well, what have you learned the most about talking about dating? I know dating in LA is very difficult, but what would you say is like the biggest takeaway from breaking that down?
I definitely feel like our biggest takeaway has been focusing more so on ourselves, because we try to come about dating in like a really like spiritual, evolved way, so that when you hear us, like it really does come back to like the work that you're putting into yourself, and then that way you're able to be like the best version of yourself when you meet another person, or who, depending on who you're trying to attract. So sometimes we're trying to attract different people at different points in our lives.
Yeah, I love that shift, because I feel like I grew up around the time of like, he's just not that into you being like the motto of dating, which I think is so backwards, because why are you wasting your time on someone who's not that into you when you should be focusing on yourself? Like, why are we trying to change ourselves or make ourselves unavailable for someone who isn't worth our time?
Yes, we actually reference that movie all the time.
It's so flawed. It's so flawed.
So I always I'm like, you guys, if they want to, they will. That's like, that is kind of the motto.
But we don't need like a whole book and a whole movie. Like, we get the point.
Yes,
like it's like a sentence that we don't need. We shouldn't be like hitting ourselves over the head for.
Exactly.